Hey, I'm Bang Bang, and I'm a tattoo artist from New York City. Today we're going to look at some celebrity tattoos. Yeah, David Beckham's tattoos are really iconic. Many people have duplicated it or attempted to, but I mean, I can spot this tattoo and not see anything else and tell like this is David Beckham. This tattoo works because it complements shape. It almost feels like armor placed on his back. It's placed in an appropriate spot. It complements the body well, so it's a good one. Maybe something people wouldn't notice that I see is the reference used for the person is, I think it's someone jumping off a diving board. And anytime an artist uses a body, very oftentimes, unless they're an expert illustrator, we use a body reference. So this pose of them looking down, jumping up, toes pointed down, and arms straight out, I think it's a diver. I love The Rock's tribal tattoo. Who's wearing tribal tattoos that are cooler than that? This guy's a hero. I hope he runs for president. I kind of miss his original tattoo. He had a bull that was really easily identifiable, which is something that I think makes successful tattoos. It was just iconic. When these tattoos are made, they're made body specific. This was drawn on his body. This isn't something that comes off of a picture on a wall and they stick it on. This is specifically made for his anatomy. So I think it's pretty cool. This Polynesian tattoo was probably in the realm of 10 to 15 hours, really depends on artist speed, how well the skin takes ink. Actually, I'm forgetting his arm's probably massive. That's like tattooing someone's back. So, could take a little longer. He's a big boy. Who wears tattoos better than Rihanna? First of all, the Sanskrit on her hip moves a little as her hip moves, which carries your eye into her neck shape a little more. It almost forces you to see more curve. And then I think her gun tattoo is great because it's just iconic. Like, she's a badass bitch. Like, who else should have a little gun tattoo? It's like Rihanna. That was a strange story. It's like I had tattooed her, a couple years prior to doing that gun tattoo, and she had a little gun necklace. My name's Bang Bang. It's like, of course, I'm gonna try to talk her into, hey, let's get a little gun tattoo, let's do it. And so a couple years later, we did, and it was almost on her shoulders. There was almost two of them, and one on each side, just above her armpit. And when I put the stencils on and I looked at her, it was the only thing I could see. And that's not the goal when you're tattooing, especially when you're tattooing someone iconic and you're tattooing a woman, like, her face and her neck and her shoulders, and that is her image. And so I didn't want to do something that dominated that. And so when you look at Rihanna's tattoos, they're oftentimes delicate. And even though when you stare at her, she has, one on her collar and one on her neck and another one on her clavicle, and you see Rihanna, you don't see Rihanna's tattoo. It's not like some overwhelming tattoo. So we took them off the front of her and put it on her ribs, and I like it much better. Sometimes the frame makes the artwork, so this is the case here. I take no credit. I made both of these tattoos, but she makes them look good. Yeah, this is an American traditional tattoo like you would see made in the 20s, and it's great. It's really well done. This is done to pay tribute to that time period and style of tattooing. So this isn't done with the intent of trying to make this girl look like a real mermaid or anything other than trying to stay true to the time period and the style that this artwork was created in. So it works because it's true to what it's trying to be. It's trying to be a traditional Americana tattoo. When tattoos were introduced in America in the 1920s in New York on the Bowery, this is what they were making. And they were tattooing with no gloves on, and their stencils were really rudimentary, and they made flash designs. People come in, pick them out, and that's what you'd get, kid. And these were sailor tattoos. These were made for sailors in town because they were the ones who were getting tattooed at the time. So of course it's a mermaid. It makes a lot of sense. I love this tattoo. I don't have any traditional tattoos. I don't make traditional tattoos, but I like when I see them done well. I like that she has a theme, make it red. I love that Kylie has a direction and she knows what she wants. I like that her style is little red tattoos. I don't think I've ever met a person that has a bunch of little red tattoos, so I like that it's unique. We use really small needles to make these tattoos. So when people think of a needle, they think of one needle. And it's not actually like that with tattooing. It's several needles, and they're grouped together very much like this, and they come to a point, and that space in between each needle is what leaves ink behind. So if it's open, it's going to leave more ink behind over a bigger area, and if it's quite tight, like the area that we damage your skin is much smaller, but it is harder to make it consistent. So think if you're using a pencil and you try to draw a straight line, you'll see a lot of inconsistencies in that very thin straight line. Now, if you take a big Sharpie and try to draw a straight line, it's going to look much smoother. So the thicker and bigger the line is, it's almost safer when we're tattooing because you can't see any of that wiggle or any of our imperfections. So it's harder to make smaller lines. These take 30 seconds. Easy money. All of your nerves are in your hands and your feet, so you can feel things, so you can keep your balance. So yeah, your pain receptors are right there. That looks like it hurt. I can relate. I like his barbed wire knuckles a lot, and I like the faces. He's got like a photo album on his knuckles. It's kind of funny. Well, they work because he's Post Malone. You know, so if he wasn't Post Malone, you know, and somebody walked in and I saw these tattoos, I'd be like, we got some work to do. But I think oftentimes when people have so many tattoos, we fall in love with them. They become part of us. So the portraits are impressively healed for how small they are. You could tell who everyone is, which is awesome. Immediately what catches my eye is the bear is a really common photograph of a really famous bear. And so it's our job when we tattoo to try to find something unique. It's really tough. When I see it, I see a really commonly used bear reference. And I'm curious, it might actually be the same one as on Justin Bieber's chest.
It looks like the exact same one, actually.
It is, right? You'd be twinsies, and you don't even know it. I don't think Post Malone or Justin Bieber are pissed that they have the same bear. Tank Girl. Like, who is Tank Girl more than Ruby Rose? She's kind of iconic. Her tattoos are really cool. It's re-rendered art, so it is someone else's art rendered into skin, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, for this design style, like, it worked perfect for a tattoo, and it works perfect on her specifically. Something you wouldn't notice about this. It's not fully tattooed. This is actually a mix of pigment and skin. So oftentimes when tattoos are fully colored, every inch of them is solidly colored. When I made this, it was kind of a different technique. Tried to use a lot of her skin and blend into it. And so it's more skin than you think. This is cool. This is a super cool tattoo. It's super unique. This tattoo makes me happy to look at. I imagine it does the same for her. It's not overwhelming. For this, like, I just love its uniqueness. This is a brave tattoo to jump into because this isn't something that's quote unquote, you know, traditionally done. This pastel palette of coloring. And I like that it's in a circle. I'd be friends with Scarlett Johansson if she didn't have this. So as far as first tattoos go, this is a good one. Like, well done, kid. He has better tattoos than his dad, actually. I think the amount of skin left over around it is a good thing. I don't always think tattoos need to be dominating of a body part. I think they can, you know, be just displayed on a body part. So I like that it's not overwhelming. It's tattooed well. It's not a common tattoo. It's a difficult tattoo to make, so it's highly rendered and small. I've met him. He's awesome, humble kid who really, really loves tattoos and saves his money so that he can get them. I know how much Brooklyn loves his tattoos, and it's great that he has good ones. Yeah, I would love to see these a little bit bigger. They kind of look like birthmarks from here. I think she got these in my store. I think John Boy did these. I think I was there when she got these. For me, when tattoos aren't easily identifiable, if I have to take a moment, even a moment, to figure out what it is, and my brain doesn't automatically do it for me, I tend to redesign. Most people that view your tattoos are not viewing them as closely as you are, actually. People perceive you a bit further away. I like the shape on the spot. So I like that it's a little circle in that spot. I almost feel like maybe it should be a little circle or a dot. It's like kind of cool. It doesn't require enormous skill to do these tattoos. It does require skill to do them perfectly. Traditionally, this tattoo is a little too tight for us to say it'll age really well. Those gaps in between those letters, those skin spaces, close over time. It won't say seek forever. They're all done well, and I'm sure they all mean a lot, but I wish Steph Curry would get some tattoos that are maybe like form to his body. He's got an incredible physique and these little tiny little model tats. I would love to get a big tattoo on Steph Curry. Call me.